I guess it's recording.
Okay. So, the first thing I wanted to ask you is just about House of Hope in general. Like, what do you guys do specifically, and like, what is your history? When did you start, and things like that?
Okay, well, I'll start with the history.
Okay.
So, 1995, our legal name is Christian Community Development. So we were started by the churches in the area. So the church leaders got together and said, we're seeing this ongoing problem of single mothers with children getting stuck in the cycle of homelessness. And so they said, as opposed to just paying rent or, putting them up in a hotel or doing something like that, what about if we followed the Christian Community Development Association philosophy by providing them an opportunity to have affordable rent, to be working so that they are able to continue on providing for their family and being able to provide and overcome all the basic needs. So Christian Community Development is who we are. So they formed that, and House of Hope was the first project that they did as Christian Community Development. So it was an 8-plex apartment, so they had a house mother and then 7 families. The moms had to be working or going to school to live there, single moms with children. They had them fully furnished. They had the peer ministry, so just a person that was there to kind of just help them walk through life and figure out things as they were going on, and 2 non-negotiable rules: no illegal substances, no overnight guests. Other than that, they were just able to start working towards being fully self-sufficient. So that was 1995. The program has grown and adapted throughout the years. So now here we are, 24 years later. We have 15 apartments, so we serve 15 families. It is set up in a trauma-informed care format. All of our moms are working or going to school. They meet with their case manager once a week. They attend life skills classes weekly. And they're just all on an individualized plan in order to achieve the self-sufficiency that they want for themselves and their family. Beyond that, this past year we also opened a prevention program. So we're serving, in our main program, single moms with children. So they have their own apartment, they provide their own food, they have their own track that they're on with a support system around them. But then our other program is a duplex with 2 apartments upstairs, and we can serve 5 young ladies that have aged out of the foster care system. So they're the highest at risk for becoming a homeless single mother, but in the meantime they get their own room. So it's not their own apartment, they have their own room, which they share with other girls, so it's dorm style. And they pretty much do the same exact program as our moms over here do, except for they're not moms. They're single young ladies that are just working to get on their feet and figure out their path as they're transitioning into adulthood.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
How long have you personally been with House of Hope?
3 years.
3 years. And what is your role as director?
Well, I guess my role is director, right? So I actually just oversee the operations, the daily operations, the vision for it. So, always trying to look 5 years down the road as well as at today and seeing, what we're doing, how we're doing it, can we be doing it better, and then where are we going and how are we going to get there.
So you mentioned that Mr. Frowning's wife ran out of her term limit. Do you have a term limit too?
No. So as the executive director, I am an employee of the Christian Community Development, but then the governance of it is by a board of directors. So the board of directors are a volunteer group that come in that oversee also the operations, not the daily operations, but the long-term sustainability of the organization. So Mr. Prouty's wife, she was on our board of directors.
Okay.
She was actually one that hired me. So.
Cool. What do you most enjoy about working at House of Hope?
That could be a really long answer. Wow, which one? There is a lot of amazing things on here. Seeing somebody succeed, there's nothing else like it. So seeing somebody that came in that had no education, that had no employment, that had no transportation, that didn't have safe childcare, you know, that didn't know what they wanted to do or where they wanted to go or anything that, and then to look at them and realize they've got it all together. They're on their path, they've found their purpose, and they're just fine. There's something pretty amazing in there. We always hear, you know, we always talk about the intangibles. So, you know, you could easily say, here you go, here's a job, show up there every day for two different people, and one is gonna make it and one isn't. Because there's this intangible, and the place that I love in that is there's a moment when you say to somebody, you can do this, the moment that they believe you changes everything. And so I love that moment, that switch right there, when I realize a woman has just believed in herself. I know that nothing will stop her at that point. So that right there, it's so intangible, it's hard to describe. I think that's my favorite spot.
Great. Do you ever hear, like, find it, so it's like people come and do they stay for like a period of time and then like they go out once they've like gone through the program, they like go back out into the community, or? Okay.
Yeah, so women can stay here up to 2 years. So on average, people are here about 15 months. And the whole purpose of this program is that they leave here completely self-sufficient. So when they leave here, they have employment or an education, because some will come here and use their 2 years to get upper education and get an employable skill. But they leave here, they have, you know, education or employment. They're able to, you know, pay market rate rent somewhere. They have their transportation under control. Their kids are, you know, stable and, you know, doing well. So when somebody leaves here, you would never know that they've been here. They become your neighbor. Probably kids somewhere in your class have gone through this program. You don't know because they're no different than anyone else here.
Yeah.
It just happens to be that this is where they reside for a couple years while they are overcoming some obstacles that came up in their life.
So like, if you have like your maximum amount of like families living here, do other people like come in that you have to say like we're full, or like do you have anything that you can do to help them if you don't have room?
This is the worst question there is. Our waiting list was 85 families a couple months ago. 85 families, 85 single moms with children that are struggling to have stable housing. So 85 families that are living couch to couch, shelter to shelter, living in their cars. 85 families in this community that are homeless. So yeah, it's a problem that we face every day. I'll be honest, none of us want to answer that phone call from that person that calls and says, but I'm homeless now. None of us want to answer the phone call anymore because we know, well, right now we can't help you. Right now you need to go to one of the 2 shelters in our area that are probably full. Right now you need to beg a friend to stay on their couch because we are full.
Yeah.
And we will stay full. And even if we had an apartment open, we have 84 other families ahead of you right now. So none of us want to answer that phone.
Yeah.
None of us want to tell another person, I'm sorry, we can't help. What we do hope is that as we continue to grow and as we continue to build the foundation of what we have going on, that we continue to get better at serving our families and that they get on their feet faster and quicker and move through our program faster so that more people can come in. And that's the best that we can hope for right now. But yes, we turn people away every single day.
It's a hard thing.
Yeah.
It's a hard thing to think about and learn about, and especially like do.
Yeah, you know, we had a conversation today in our board meeting about just homelessness in general and, you know, the point in time and, you know, where people are and, you know, just kind of remembering that there are people that live under the bridge. That there are people that, you know, are just walking up and down hoping to find a warm place to stop for a little bit, and it's right here.
A lot of people don't realize that, like, at all. They have no clue that there are, like, homeless people, like, right near where you live and, like, going to your school and such.
Yeah. Yep. I've never actually spoken to a class where either somebody hadn't experienced homelessness or had lived in a shelter or in our program before. Every single class I've ever spoken to, somebody has come up afterwards and said, I used to live at House of Hope, or I lived in my car for a little bit, or I was homeless once. The rest of the kids in the class would never know that.
Yeah.
But it's true, it's real, it's right here. 1 out of 50.
Do you know a lot of, or like, okay, I'm struggling to find information like online or in books or whatever about like kind of the statistics of homelessness like in this area since it's such a small area. Do you know anything about like how many people are homeless or like what the main things that they need are in this area?
So they do a point in time count every January. The numbers haven't come out yet for
Okay.
2019, but they stay pretty consistently just under 2,000 in this area. Like I said, I haven't seen the numbers yet, but that would be my best guess.
Okay.
And as far as needs, it's different for each particular service provider. So what the Salvation Army needs may be very differently than what Friends of the Family needs, than what the Hospitality House, what the Catholic Workers House, that what we need.
Okay.
So everybody kind of has an abundance of something, and their need will be completely different.
Okay.
So.
How can people in the community help homeless people in like, I want to say like a small way, but like in a way that can like get to people without like you like giving up like all your money or all your resources or all your time or anything like that? What can someone do just like on a daily basis or like once a week or something to help people?
Yeah. So without a financial contribution, well, just there's little things. Donate your old clothes, right? Bring your clothes. So if you think about right now a single mom that has 2 small children, right? So she's just struggling to make it herself, but then her kids are always growing. And so they don't have socks, they don't have underwear, they don't have, you know, the right clothes, they don't have shoes that don't have holes in them, right? So, you know, by cleaning out your closet, donating your clothing, that helps that person stretch a little bit farther. Okay, now my kid is got what they need, now I can worry about, you know, the food. Serve at the Salvation Army meal program, at the Catholic Workers House. Serve a meal, just go and sit down next to somebody and have a conversation. Mental health is a real thing, it's a real issue. And I'm not saying that having a conversation with somebody is going to change that, but what I am saying is somebody that is constantly worried and stressed and is feeling different and has a stigma and all of these other things, to be just around people and to be valued in a way is a healing thing. So go to those places, sit down and talk to people, care about their answers. Just think of the people in that situations and just pour into them. And that's something that can be done at any day. There's meals served all over the place. I assume that you grow out of your clothes fairly often, right? Do a drive, do an awareness thing, tell other people that, you know, there is a problem right here in the community and, you know, ask them to get involved. Do a fundraiser, right? So maybe you can't donate all your money, but you can buy a couple gallons of ice cream and, you know, do an ice cream fundraiser and, you know, ask other people to donate. There's lots of ways that you can do it without being a millionaire and just writing a big check.
Okay, then another thing I wanted to ask was like, you said like you can go places and like talk to people. Is there a way that like I, for my project, could talk to people who are homeless without like invading privacy? Like I probably wouldn't videotape them because that's kind of like a personal thing to talk about. But like, I'd just kind of like to know like how it is for them and what specifically like they would want from like community members. And so I was wondering if you know any way that I could do that.
I would suggest that you actually just go serve a meal. So contact the Catholic Workers House, and so they do everything after 4 o'clock, and just say, you know, can I come serve a meal? And just, you know, go there, serve meals to people that are living in the shelter, and just sit down and talk with them. Contact the hospitality house. They're open from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. You know, hey, can I come help serve lunch? And then you can feel people out. I mean, some people will want to talk, and other people will just want their food and be left alone. Usually there's people that want to talk, and just go sit down and have a conversation. Yeah, make them feel that they're heard, right?
Yeah.
You care about them, and you want to know their story. You're not there to teach them. You're not there to hand something to them. You're not there. You just are there to talk and hear their story. Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then my last question is, do you know any other people that I can talk to that are kind of like in your kind of position that like are there people like in all the different organizations that you can like contact? I don't know.
So do you want, okay, sorry. So, are you
It's
thinking
kind of
like,
confusing.
like other organizations that you can
Or
talk to?
other experts in the field,
Yeah.
is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
Well, I would definitely go down to the Salvation Army. You know, so they work with, they've got, you know, 2 homeless shelters. And then they also have like the meal program and their emergency assistance, and, you know, they work with, you know, at risk for homelessness as well as homeless. So I would definitely go over there and talk to the social service director there.
Okay.
And I would definitely contact Hospitality House and ask, you know, Joni, you know, she looks at a whole different group of people. It's a daytime shelter. It's not an overnight shelter, but it's people that need to come in and get warm and have a meal during the day. Catholic Workers House, they're all volunteers over there, but they're good ones that, you know, have that same population every day. Friends of the Family, they're domestic violence shelter, but they work with, you know, the homeless situation as well. And honestly, you wouldn't go wrong talking to any of them. There's also, every other month at 11 o'clock at Operation Threshold is the Homeless Coalition. And so there's a group of people that get together every other month, the first Monday, at 11 o'clock, and just talk about, you know, what are the trends, what's happening in the area, and